Hi everyone, it's Heather Grablin with Aurora Essence Healing. Today I wanted to share episode 10, and I'm going to call this episode Barbra. This is a story about a woman who lived in the Old Victorian house. And I will call this a paranormal story. It's going to be in 2 parts. So this is going to be part 1. And in a couple days, I will share part 2. So I hope you enjoy this episode. And thanks for listening. When I was about, I want to say this is right after high school. I was 17. I got my own apartment at that time. I was dating my now husband. We've been together for 24 years. So he's been in all of my life since high school. And I moved on Broad Street in Danielson into an old Victorian house that is right next to 2 different churches and like a funeral home. So when we lived there, I want to say we were there probably a couple of months. My husband ended up moving in with us, with me probably within like 6 months, I would say, after me having the apartment. So we kind of noticed like things like all of a sudden, like the cupboard doors would start swinging open. Like I said in previous videos, the bread would start flying off of things and out of my cupboards. But one night we were sitting there, and at that time we were still young. We're playing video games. It was late at night. And all throughout my life, I saved anytime anyone like had given me roses, I would hang them up and dry them. So I had all of these roses in a very tall vase, and I had them like in the corner of the room on the table. So I want to say it's like probably like between like 11 and 12 a.m., you know. We're sitting there playing video games, and all of a sudden the flowers start moving. Like someone just like walked by and like was touching the flowers. So they start moving in this pattern way. And we looked at each other, we were like, oh shit, what's happening, you know? We were completely like, okay, that's apparently a ghost in this house. So after we noticed that, we always noticed that the cupboards would not stay shut. They would just start going open. It was like all day a thing. We would go shut them, and then they would just like open up, and they would just keep going. And they had like these little like push closers. So we know we were definitely closing them on the inside. But as time started going on, we noticed more things, like some toys would start getting lined up in the other room that I had there for my nieces. They would kind of like be like neatly moved, and we would talk to each other about these things. And another time, I must have gotten a balloon, I want to say, for like, I don't know if it was a birthday or something, but it was on, you know, one of those ribbons, and it was like on a weight on the table. So this is with my roses now, this balloon. So it's like on the table on the weight, and it's like a little bit above the balloon, the roses. So all of a sudden the balloon just goes straight down, like someone's pulling it straight down, and then it just goes up, and it's just like bing, bing, like bouncing up from being let go. And then the flowers start moving again. And so after that, we were like, okay, there's definitely like, these are things that are happening here, and we want to figure it out, right? So I remember my husband going to the bathroom. Now I'm kind of used to these things, as you know, because I have had these happen to me all of my life. But my husband, I remember one day he comes out of the bathroom, and our bathroom, I want to say it was like 3 by 5 feet, maybe, if we were lucky. Not up to code of standards today. It was like we had an extremely small stall shower that you could reach your arm out, and you could literally brush your teeth in the sink, and the sink was like this big. And the toilet, you could like sit on the toilet and put your leg like into the shower. It was so tiny, but there was no room in there for a vanity. So there was this mirror. I want to say it was probably like a 12-inch mirror. And the light above, was like a pull. And I would always feel a presence when I would go walk into the bathroom. And then I would start seeing like a shadow kind of like going around me, like in the mirror, like going like this. So, of light. And you would kind of just get like those, prickly feelings of your hair sticking up. And I remember my husband one day, he comes out of the bathroom so fast, he's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I was being watched in the bathroom. This is so creepy. Like, I could feel it. I could see it, like, in the mirror. I was totally freaked out. So this happened for, like, many, many months, I would say. Every day there was some occurrence. We would hear something. We would notice something. She definitely likes to make sure that we knew she was there. And, we ended up talking to like our neighbor and being like, we kind of experienced things over here. What do you think? And they were like, yeah, we've experienced some things too. So I think after, I want to say like a month, probably, when our landlord at that time would come over to our apartment to get our rent every month. We were really friendly with each other. That just was the norm back then. And, that's when I decided to say, hey, have you ever had someone talk to you about there being ghosts here in this apartment? And he kind of like went, he's like, all right. He's like, the neighbor said something to me before. Many times, like things would move or they'd hear things, or feel a presence. And he was like, but since you're now saying it and your boyfriend at the time is saying it, he's like, I think I'm willing to show you this. And he was like, well, come with me, follow me. So that is where I'm going to leave this part 1 story. If you want to hear it, come back to listen to the next part. Okay? Thank you. Have a good day.